Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Hack This Fall. This session is all about building a really nice project for your hackathon. I know it's already going on. We're here to talk about you first of all. How are you all? What are you building? What are you doing? Would you like to share anything? How is the journey going so far? It's like we're not okay, we're just 22 hours left more, right? And this makes us more excited to actually witness the projects that you're building, because this hackathon, Hack This Fall, is all about creativity, collaboration, and your technical skills, of course, that comes the foremost. And all these three things aligned enough actually are yet not enough to make a good hackathon project. So, this is why we have this session welcomed for you. And yeah, tell me, how's the hack going so far? And this is all that you would have been waiting to attend as a good project. You need to know what's a good project. So, for this, we're here to talk about how to make a good hackathon project again. And for this, we have Aniket from Devfolio. Let's welcome him on the stage. Hi, Aniket.
Hey Kushi, thanks for having me here.
Hi. So Aniket would be sharing the insights about what makes a good hackathon project and so far what's going on. You can take notes. You can ask him your questions after or during the chat. We're welcoming the chat and we can be answering it. So over to you, Aniket.
Sounds good. Thanks for the intro, Kushi. Hey everyone, this is Aniket. I'm the community lead at Devfolio, and I think I'll just quickly get started with the screen share. Let me just put that up. Uh, yep. I hope my screen is visible. Just doing a quick check. Yeah, I think it's all good. Cool. So, just giving a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering here. So, first, we're going to talk a little bit about Devfolio. What are the initiatives we do? How are we helping builders? That's going to take like more like around like 5 to 7 minutes. Not going to like touch upon a lot of things, and we get to the meat of the content today, which is what makes a good hackathon project. We'll just be talking about some tips and tricks, looking at some past projects that have like kind of won hackathons, have been good in the eyes of judges, and like we have like our standard five niches which we feel are important to like kind of constitute what a good project looks like. So yeah, I'll just quickly start, and as I said, like I am here more to answer questions. Like the content is just to set enough context. The overall it should take like 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm if you have questions, there are no dumb questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. So yeah, for those of you who do not know about Devfolio, just a quick heads up that we help next gen builders build and become the source of economic opportunities. We have a bunch of initiatives that we run to help builders. We have been doing this since our early release in 2019. And so far, we have 600,000 builders on the platform, 80,000 plus projects already built and submitted. And over our course of initiatives that we do, that's hackathons, grants, fellowships, job drops, and other things that we have done. There we have disbursed over $5 million in prizes to the builders on Deffolio. Right. So quickly, just walking through like what initiatives do we run. So first is like we help host community hackathons, Hack This Fall being one of them. So it's very easy for you to set up a hackathon on Devfolio and host yours. For university hackathons, we have a special like university program where we give you more support in terms of monetary support, swag. We can just talk about it later. Essentially, we support all such hackathons, and then Devfolio also we do our own flagship hackathons, Eat and Out, Eat India Women being one of them. So In Out is our community hackathon. Eat India is the world's biggest Ethereum hackathon. So this is from last year, and we are also doing Eat India this year from 6 to 8 December. So if you folks are interested, so eathindia.co is where you go ahead and apply. And women is also like our women only hackathon that we do. The last one was in 2023 in the month of May. So that was hackathon. So next is fellowships. So we also do fellowships where you don't pay to learn, but you instead get paid to learn. So we did ETH India Fellowship, the third edition of it, in like 2023, where a stipend of $2,000 were given. So we would select. There would be an application process. We would select the folks who are wanting to learn Web3. So this is more of a Web3 initiative that we do. Um, and upon getting selected, you will be given some course content. You will be connected with mentors, and at the end you will be asked to build a project of your own. It could be completely, what you feel best, wherever your interest lies in, whatever niche you want to build for. And for all of that, we give you a stipend instead of you paying for a course, sort of thing, right? We also give out grants. This is for builders who are wanting to be experimental with what they're wanting to build. So we do ETH India grants. We give up to $5,000 in equity-free grants to builders solving interesting problems in Ethereum. So if you see yourself doing this, the applications are open. You can just Google ETH India grants, and I can head to the website. We have also done job drops, which is like a virtual job fair. We did it with Polygon the other. I think we did this in 2022. So essentially, like, there was a virtual space created. We had selected a few folks based on their application, and then it was like a job fair going on where people would go to different tables that they are invited to, have a quick chat, and based on that, their interview application is taken ahead. So that is something also very interesting we had done. And we had also done like a demo day, which was kind of like a Shark Tank sort of experience. We did it back with SGC India, where we like there were like, I think, 10 teams, 10 to 12 teams that were selected, who got a chance to raise funds from a pool of $2 million. Yep. Now that was all about Devfolio. Now moving to the actual part of the workshop here today, like a webinar. The first thing about, like, what when you're participating at a hackathon, it is to align with your goal. So there are majorly two aspects when you kind of go for a hackathon. So you're there for learning. Maybe it's your first hackathon. You are still getting like kind of warmed up on what actually a hackathon is. So far, you have mostly learned things, but at a hackathon is where you apply the things you have learned so far. And not to mention, like, even if it is a 24 to 48 hour hackathon, um, the amount of learning you can do that versus when you sit at home, do a course, or kind of experiment with it. This is like where you accelerate that learning speed, because you learn and immediately implement it, and you kind of see the actions end to end, right? Or and if you are like kind of like an experienced builder, then you kind of are here at hackathons to win prizes, which kind of adds into your profile. Then that helps you with jobs, or if you want to raise for your project, things like that. So there are like two different mindsets people come in with. And as you can see, there's an and slash or in between the two words. Reason being that people who are also first timers at a hackathon, who are learning, do also, like, it's not necessary that only experienced hackers are winning hackathons. People who also are there for the first time, like, have a equal chance at winning. It depends, like, how they are kind of learning and building things throughout. So essentially, when you're attending a hackathon, you kind of want to build like your goal. Like, are you here to learn, are you here to win, or are you here to do both, right? So what does not make a good hackathon project? Like, I felt like this is easier to cover first, just so that we can weed out the obvious points that kind of not give your project enough points. And so these are the ones, just to, like, if you are new to hackathons, this is like the first time you're trying to submit a project, then these points, like, it doesn't really apply to you. These points will apply to people who are here to win, right? So let's say, even if, let's say, you, like, for example, you just learned React and you just want to make a simple like website, which, like, or a very simple game, given that you learned, let's say, p5.js or something like that, right? So you're just there at the hackathon to learn and just see what it takes to, like, kind of build a project end to end in the given duration. Then it can be a simple project, like, then you don't have an expectation of really winning the hackathon. But if you're here to win, then these are some of the things that you should not be doing at a hackathon. That is a simple tutorial project. Like, any hello world projects across all domains is usually a clear reject, because one, it's like, kind of very easy to pick it off the internet and just make a few changes. Judges are pretty experienced with all these things. It's very easy for them to understand, if the project is kind of just like a tutorial project, right? So that is something you probably want to avoid. You can use that as an inspiration, like as a starter point, as a base point, but of course there's no need, you're going to need to do like a significant amount of work on top of it to, so that it doesn't look like a tutorial project, right? The next is something that involves a lot of external stakeholders. That is like for your project to actually show its potential or like give some promises. It If it involves a lot of stakeholders, then like it kind of like depends on like the hackathon theme itself. If usually then judges will not be able to understand if this is something people would actually use or not, like which involves external stakeholders. So let's say people will say that, hey, I'm building a blockchain voting app. Because of blockchain, it's going to be decentralized, tamper proof, public out there, no unfair things happening in the voting process. And then we'll do this for India so that the the voting process is much more transparent, right? But when you make this claim, yes, you can build the tech, but actually getting it to work for it to reach the hands of people is another like set of tasks, right? So usually when judges kind of see this blocker, there is a dip in the score. But as I said, it depends on hackathon to hackathon. If there's a theme for it, then of course that works out. But this is for like a general theme hackathon where, um, let's say if you're making services for very specific niches and like hospitals or something, where the judges would like kind of need an insight if if that is something people would do, right? Or would use, how does it work, how, what's the loop for it to get implemented and things like that. So usually when there's a lot of such things involved, it kind of dips the interest, to be fair. And like good hackathon projects, like something like, let's say, I think like a lot of things happening with GPT these days. So maybe like you write a prompt and then like a comic book is made out of it, right? There was one project at Warp Speed 2023 I saw. So that is like, like that's immediate ROI. Like the judges can actually see it work, and at the end of the day they are the end users as well, so they can see the impact of the project, the potential impact of the project. So that is something we do. Repetitive projects, like of course, like yet another marketplace project or yet another iris dataset project, like if you do repetitive projects, so judges have already seen like a lot of these things. It becomes difficult for them to kind of like assess on originality, here to be precise, right? Now getting to like the good part, like what makes a good hackathon project is these are the five niches that we as Devfolio have come up with. Like Devfolio also has a judging feature where these are the five criteria that we usually recommend to organizers. Of course, organizers have the flexibility of having their own criteria for judging project, but like this is the five things that we have come up with. So one of them is, first is technicality. How technical the project is. Does it justify the hackathon duration? Like if it is a 24-hour hackathon, have they built enough technical stuff? And let's say you have written like a lot of things in your project description, but is your actual deployed link adhering to the things that you have mentioned? Of course, you can mention like current scope is this and the future scope of the project is this, but the current scope should actually be working. Whatever you claim should actually be working, right? And so that's points on technicality. Second is originality, how original your project is. There are two aspects here. It could either be a completely new idea that has not been implemented, could be solving something completely new, or it could be solving an existing things which has solutions out there, but your solution is much more better, much more optimized, like you're doing it in a better way. So for these two sort of things, like you get points in your originality like criterion, right? Third is practicality. How practical is the project? Do you see people using it? In like I think like this can be better explained with an example, where let's say you built the best AI model out there. It's better than Guilfoyle's from Silicon Valley, right? Just an example, right? But for people to actually use it, they will have to like, let's say there are non-tech users who want to use your AI to do something really interesting, and you tell them that, hey, for that you will need to open your terminal and install a few Python packages and then run the Python file. Just as an example, right? It's not really practical. Like like your daily users are not going to do that, right? So you might be scoring points in technicality and originality, but that is where your practicality points kind of dip, right? So it should be something handy, easy to use, And that is also kind of which ties with the aesthetics point is, you can set up your everything in the back end, and then you should still have a good front end, decent front end for people to actually use, navigate through your project, right? And that is where also aesthetics come in, which is simply the UI UX uh, of the project. And I'm just sorry, there's a little bit of disturbance. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so aesthetics is where like a UI UX sort of kicks in. Like might be a little bit bummer for people who don't like doing front end or don't like writing CSS, but we are not, like, it's not being expected that there needs to be like some very beautiful animation that a button click should have like confetti coming out of it. Like, it's not that is what expected. Of course, if you're interested, you have the time and time to do that. Of course, nobody's stopping you there. But that is not what expected. It's more on the UX aspect. Like, whenever you have your judging going on, be it async judging or async as an online judging, or you have like a live judging going on at an offline hackathon, aesthetic like the best thing for a judge is to use your project themselves without you having to expect, hey, you have to click here for this to happen and all, right? If a judge is able to navigate through your project, it kind of becomes apparent to them, oh, like, this is what you're solving, this is what you're doing, this is how you do it, right? Because like they don't have to read through your description or hear you explain it. You give a few lines of context that this is what we are solving, please use it, right? So yeah, that is something like really gets all the points. And then like wow factor, there is no strict definition for this. It's basically like a overall feeling behind the project. So let's say it may not be like your project may not be having like a lot of originality points, or somewhere it's lacking, but oh, like it was built by high school students, college, like 11 12 standard students. So that kind of like gives a judge like perspective that, hey, they're kind of doing good work. And it's also not just that, but the overall feeling of the project, that it is like an ambitious project which actually did a lot of things, a lot of groundwork is done, and has a future impact, could be ahead of its time. You could be building the next you could be building like very big things out there. So right, that is where the wow factor point comes in. So how wowed they are by your project is like kind of fit in over here, right? Let's just quickly go through a bunch of projects that we have received at hackathons over the years. So this is my personal favorite example, Seva Shop. This is from in out 2020. Yeah, it's a pretty old project, but like it's still at the top of my mind. This was built at in out 2020, and essentially this was a way for IRL stores, especially during COVID, to set up an online present and like start receiving bookings. Maybe it could be, I think they had started off with a salon service, essentially like a Shopify kind of thing, but like catered and much more easier to use for local vendors in India, right? So this is something we like given that we are in that environment, it's easy for us to understand like setting up an online service for people who are not as tech savvy is a challenge, and then doing this through WhatsApp, and like receiving bookings, like you might be giving exceptional service, but your online presence is being hampered on. This is what like kind of solves for it. Next is Payall. This is like a project from, I think, Unfold 2022. So it's a decentralized P2P payments engine like UPI. Again, like like as it is like with crypto, there is for mass adoption, there is still some friction in like kind of sending crypto across. But what does this project do is like it's like an engine that they have built, and then on the front end, they kind of you can use a WhatsApp bot, you can use a Telegram bot, whatever makes it easier for users. So you can see just like it says like pay, it associates an ID with the wallet, and then pay this much token to this person and all. So like that was kind of like a good effort in making crypto more accessible and easy for people to use. So as you can see, like they like the main thing they built was the core engine over here on how it works, which itself was really commendable. But if that's all they had built, they might have they might have lost points in the aesthetics factor, because they will not be aesthetics and actually practicality factor, for a matter of fact, right? Like, okay, you build the engine, but how do we use it, right? So that's why what they quickly did in, I think, the last couple of hours of the hackathon is set up a WhatsApp bot so that it's easy for the user to understand what the engine is doing, right? So yeah, that's like a good example. And this is from a Gen AI hackathon that we had done earlier. It's called Cody. Is like it's a DSA interview prep buddy. So what it essentially do is if you're solving problems on Lead Code or you're doing it on HackerRank, so essentially this is like a browser extension that will scrape through the entire page and understand, oh, this is the problem you're solving, and just using that context and of course the power of GPT, it built out its own system where you can ask it, you can like kind of ask any questions, right? Like for example, give me a hint on how to start solving this problem. So based on that, again, it's a GPT response. A brute force solution for this problem would simply be there. However, there are things you can optimize. Like you're not just solving the problem or copy pasting solutions, right? You actually understand the problem you're trying to solve. How do you solve it? If it's giving you a solution, then how does it work? Like it is like your interview DSA interview prep buddy, right? And here like list all solution approaches, so it gives you all the list. Again, like it's fairly simple to implement given that we have GPT out there, but it's still like good enough innovation for judges to see that, hey, like this is something, the practicalities are off the charts over here, right? It is something people would definitely be using once polished, right? As you can see, like a good aesthetics factor, like your UX factor over here, I'm not sure if it's, oh yeah, I can zoom on it. It says suggested prompts. It also gives some suggested prompts, which makes it easier for people to use. Now, there are these minor nitpicks which helps people like kind of use your project, right? I think, yeah, there's just one project, and I think I took a little bit more time than expected, but um yeah. And then this is Ghoda Crypto. This is one of the winners of the Samay Rana track, which we had done with Polygon. So essentially, this is just chess on Web3, where you can kind of stake your token against a player. Like both of you stake some amount, and the winner takes it all, sort of thing. And it becomes easy for non crypto users to kind of get into this. The UX is pretty simple. All they have to do is play a game of chess and just connect your wallet, stake the amount, and then you get a chance to win it. And once you progress through the levels, it also generates an NFT with all the moves to help you, like kind of put your game on chain. So that was like a very interesting project that we had seen. Just quickly coming to the end of it, like we, as mentioned, like we love hackathons. It is something we also help support. So in case you wish to, like kind of do your own hackathon, we have like a bunch of support that we provide. You get our platform to use end to end. Everything, applications, project submission, judging, everything is taken care on the platform. Mentorship and support from us. We have been doing hackathons since 2015. If there's anything you want us to help you with, help figure out any tips and tricks, we'll be happy to set up community calls with you. We also ship swags directly to hacker doorsteps, get more applications through our explore and reach section, priority support during the event. And you also partner with great companies. We have our own partner companies who also join in adding bounties to your hackathon. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just wishing everyone all the very best. Given that this is going to be a YouTube video, so you will have this video on demand anyway. Feel free to revisit the points, and also reach out to me in case if you have any question. I think I'm on the Hack This Fall Discord. I'll just confirm with the organizers, and if there's anything you wish to ask me, I'm going to be there. And feel free to even follow us on Twitter. And if you have any questions, you can drop us an email on hello@devfolio.com.
That was really amazing. I personally got so much insight about how to make a good hackathon project. Maybe all our hackers have taken notes because I actually did. It was a very nice presentation. Thank you so much, Aniket. But
Thanks.
before wrapping up, we'll wait for some questions.
Sure.
So, yeah. Hackers, can we have the questions coming up? Oh, we do. So there's a question. I'll read it out for you. If you have any, okay, sorry. If you would have to organize the five niches by priority and importance, what would be the order like?
That's a very interesting question, actually. I think like this depends from hackathon to hackathon, where like what is the importance the theme is giving, like what is being communicated. At least to hackathons, for hackathons that we do, we have like again like in hackathons we do, all five of them have equal weightage. But as a personal bias, if you ask me as a judge at the hackathon, I really look at technicality. I take a look at technicality first, then practicality, and then originality, and then the rest of them just like kind of come after that. That's a personal bias. Again, it depends from hackathon to hackathon, if that makes sense.
Totally. That's a really nice question again. Yes. We're welcome for any more questions. Aniket is here to answer any of your questions. Actually, he's also on Discord. If you'd like to, ask any questions anytime of the hackathon. The next question we have is, how about AR VR?
Actually, like AR VR is something that we are kind of Devfolio is also looking to expand on. Not a lot of people are building on AR VR, but I think like with I think like with time we are gonna have. I think like at one point it was a lot more popular, but there was a sudden dip in interest. Like once like in 2022 there was a crypto boom. In 2023 it was the AI boom. I'm pretty sure like AR VR will definitely be having its time, given like with all the new I think it's the Meta Quest and Apple's Vision Pro and all these things coming out, and them providing like extremely good developer kits. I think like we should like Devfolio would definitely be interested in doing an AI VR only hackathon. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, agreeable. True. Any other questions, hackers? We're here to answer all your questions. It's actually nice if you ask questions on the chat, because if the other person would be having the same question, that would be really helpful for them. And maybe the other people watching the stream any part of the day. Is it something specifically being looked for in the projects?
I'm a little unsure about the question. I think if you're asking for this hackathon, like what are the specific things that are being looked for, I think like the organizers can answer it best. Feel free to I think post it on the Discord. But again, I think in general it's the overall innovation that's being seen, coming out of your projects, especially with the originality part, that you're not just recycling projects. Even if like one thing like we as Devfolio also believe in the ethos of hackathons is it doesn't always have to be like a project with a business idea and like expansion plans and all these things. We just want to see like cool stuff being built. It could like just introducing like a small personal story like I don't know if it would really be the best hackathon project, but I had fun building it. Essentially like Spider-Man No Way Home was released in 2021. Me being like a huge fan, I wanted the tickets first, so I just built a Chrome extension that would refresh the page every 5 minutes, and whenever like the book now button shows up, it just plays like a loud music. And I woke up at 3:30 when I when I got to know that the tickets went live. So in that way, like when I built that, I had no idea about how to build a Chrome extension, but I had a problem statement in my I had something interesting to solve, so I learned through it, built it. Not sure how that would do at a hackathon, but I mean, like that is the kind of like interest we want to see in builders, that there are very specific niche problems that like in their day-to-day life they want to solve, and they like hackathons are essentially where you build your side projects, right? It takes a lot of motivation to sit on a weekend and do a side project. Just participate in a hackathon, you'll have enough motivation to do that, right? So I'm not sure if that exactly answers your question, but that's my take on it.
I think it would have answered the question. I mean, this is the perfect example that hackers are looking for. The
Awesome.
perfect example of creativity. Wow. That's a nice story. Thank you. Any other questions, hackers? We're here to answer it. Okay, we'll wait a couple more seconds. Um, I think if you have any questions, just let us know right away. Or maybe any follow up questions from the people who just asked. Three folks asked us some questions. I hope we're good to go then. Let's end the session because we have few more amazing sessions coming up. And stay tuned, hackers. We have a whole, you can view the channel and you can see what all live sessions with upcoming. Aniket will be in touch with us on Discord. You can anytime reach out to him, and yes, reach out to any of the organizers of Hack This Fall. Hack This Fall is again thankful for Aniket to join in and all the hackers to join in. This has been an amazing stream. And thank you, Aniket, once again for showing us the insights of how to build a good hackathon project. It was very well understood, of course, by me and all the hackers, and we had interesting questions coming up. So stay tuned for more of the live streams and the updates. We're on Discord. Just ping us on Discord. And yes, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Wishing everyone all the best.